We're coming to you live from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. This is K24 Evening Edition. Many thanks for tuning in tonight. We've compiled for you the latest happenings across the country, but first to the highlights.
The majority of those bodies belonged to female persons. A good number of them are dismembered. And some are even decomposing, and you also have a body that was still oozing of blood.
10 bodies, mostly of women, discovered in Kware, Mukuru, Kwanjenga, as investigations commence to determine the motives and identify those responsible for these gruesome murders.
Imetuma kama comrades, watu wanakufa, watu wanauawa, watu wanabadaktiwa, watu wanatupwa, watu wanakezeliwa. Kenya tunataka ni kuwa Denzel afanyiwe justice.
Students from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology protest the death of Comrade Denzel Omondi, whose body was found in a deserted quarry in Juja days after participating in anti-government demonstrations. Douglas Kanja, appointed as the Acting Inspector General of Police by President William Ruto following the resignation of Engineer Japheth Koome. MP is directed to amend the Social Health Insurance Fund within 120 days following a High Court ruling declaring it unconstitutional. Welcome to the program. My name is Bentura Komboka and our sign language interpreter tonight is Walter Asewe. And on to a rather sad story. At least 9 young adults' bodies, most females, wrapped in polythene and gunny bags, have been retrieved at a quarry ditch near Mukuru Kwanjenga slum, all of which were badly mutilated and dismembered, with a fear of more bodies suspected to be in the dump site that are yet to be retrieved. At least 10 young, mostly female, badly mutilated and dismembered bodies have been discovered and retrieved today, while stashed in gunny bags at a quarry dump site near Mukuru Kwanjenga slums.
Kuna mtu alikuja hapa akasema kuna ndoto anaonyeshwa. Si ndio alituleta hadi hapa karibu. Tukakuja hivi tukaona hiyo mwili moja. Kuangalia mwili moja, kumbe sasa leo ndio tumekuja hapo.
According to witnesses, the bodies, which some with fresh blood and a majority already decomposing, had visible injuries and were tied with ropes, with the suspicion of the victims being killed somewhere else and dumped at Kware.
Mwili moja ndio tumepata ikiwa full, ingine tumepata hizi zingine ni nusu nusu, na wote ni wanawake. Pati ya chini unapata kichwa na hii body ya juu ni nusu na miguu ya huku ni nusu.
Kuna mili zenye zimekaa hapo sana, kwa zingine zinatoka already zimedecompose, zinatoka hizo vitu za maggots. Alafu kuna mwili moja imetolewa bado inamwaga damu. So inamaanisha this is fresh. Hii mtu ameuawa not long ago.
Already a family has positively identified their kin who went missing during the Occupy Parliament demos, raising fears of whether the bodies might be connected to the anti-government protests.
One of the bodies that have already been identified, according to the sister, is that she went missing during the protests. So we are not sure. I think right now it's just speculation, but you know, we are yet to confirm what might have transpired that led to the deaths of this very innocent lady.
Residents are now blaming the police over laxity as the crime scene is adjacent to police station.
Tunataka kujua mili ya wale wamezeeka, wale wamekufa, kama ni mzee kama mimi, ama ni vijana wetu ambao ndio age ambayo imeenda kupigania haki. Tuelewe ni mili gani hizi, sababu kama mzee kama mimi, hapa kumeshakuwa pombe, niko na post ya polisi pale, niko na Kware police station. How comes? Hawa maaskari wamejaa kila mahali hapa. Watu wanakufa ovyo ovyo na kuletwa na magunia.
We still have people who are missing, and it's unfortunate now that we are identifying bodies. We can only hope and pray that you know, those bodies that are here are not directly linked to the ones that are missing.
Confirming the numbers, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has said investigative agencies are already on top of the incident.
The ODPP is deeply concerned about these reports, which point to a grave violation of human rights, considering that the said dump site is only a few meters away from the police station. The DPP has directed the Office of the Inspector General of the National Police Service to conduct a thorough investigation and forward the resultant file for perusal within 21 days.
More bodies are suspected to be in the pit, which has now been sealed off as a crime scene by homicide detectives. All the victims' bodies have been transferred to City Mortuary as the search gets underway to positively identify them.
Mahali palipo na shimo zote siondolewe. Na hizo shimo sifeiziwe. Iwe hakuna yeyote na hakuna mtu anaweza poteza mtu wake katika shimo.
Well, and hundreds of motorists and passengers plying a Thika superhighway were stranded for the better part of the day as angry students from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT, took to the streets protesting the death of Comrade Denzel Omondi. The students barricaded the busy Thika superhighway while demanding justice for the third-year JKUAT student whose body was found dumped in a deserted quarry in Juja, Kiambu County, days after participating in anti-government demos. Electa Odera with that story.
Traffic along Thika Road on Friday grounded to a halt as hundreds of students from JKUAT University took to the streets protesting the death of fellow student Denzel Omondi. Armed with placards and banners while chanting justice for Denzel, the students marched to the Juja police station in Kiambu County in pursuit of justice regarding the death of Omondi.
Imetuma kama comrades, watu wanakufa, watu wanauawa, watu wanabadaktiwa, watu wanatupwa, watu wanakezeliwa. Kenya tunataka ni kuwa Denzel afanyiwe justice.
The 23-year-old was among the thousands of protesters who stormed Parliament building on Tuesday, June 25th, during the anti-finance bill demos in Nairobi, with family and friends revealing that was the last time he was seen alive.
After Denzel was found, comrades were there. I personally was there. And they were telling us, we step aside, we can't take photos, we can't see the body. How? And then taking him to Thika. And then tukifika Thika pale tunaambiwa tuwezi ingia kumuona.
Why?
Nini mnaficha? Nini mnaficha?
After sharing a video of himself within the precincts of Parliament buildings on the day it was set alight, Omondi was reported missing on June 27th, and after days of uncertainty and frantic searching by his family, his body was discovered on July 6th, floating lifelessly in a deserted quarry in Juja. An autopsy conducted after the discovery found that Omondi had drowned. However, unsettling findings raised serious questions. Bruises on his head and legs suggested foul play, casting a dark cloud over the official explanation.
We want to know what is the status of inquiry of his murder inquiry, because clearly we are seeing an opaqueness in the way these sham investigations are being conducted.
His family and human rights advocates' family reject the autopsy results, insisting he was murdered. Investigators and the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, are still investigating the circumstances surrounding Omondi's death, but have not yet provided a conclusive explanation. Electa Odera, K24 TV.
Well, and as the heat continues to mount on public servants for accountability, Inspector General of Police Japheth Koome is the latest victim to succumb to pressure following intense criticism of officers' conduct during the recent anti-government protest that left at least 39 people dead. The Office of the President, William Ruto, has announced Koome's resignation barely a day after he sacked nearly his entire cabinet. And as Busara Naman reports, Deputy Inspector General Douglas Kanja will take over the mantle as the acting police chief. And we are going to give you that story later on. And And moving on, Acting Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja Kirocho has officially taken over from Japheth Kome, who unexpectedly resigned this afternoon. And the Kanja was the deputy IG who was appointed since in the year 2023. And his career profile: he was the director of criminal investigations and a commandant of the General Service Unit in between the year 2018 to 2023, who was also the commandant of the Anti-Terror Police Unit, ATPU, and the director of operations at the National Police Service, and also a firearms specialist. Also, he served in regions as Nairobi, Coast, Eastern and Rift Valley during his tenure, and also he's recognized for leading in the GSU in the Dusit 2 attack in 2019, and also he was in the same year he had applied to succeed Joseph Boynet, of which it was unsuccessful. Some of his career highlights: he was a commandant at the GSU between the year 2018 and 2023. And away from that, a three-judge bench has today suspended the Social Health Insurance Fund, Digital Health and Primary Health Act of 2023, citing lack of adequate public participation and containing sections that violate the Constitution. The court has, however, handed the National Assembly a lifeline to amend the Act in 121 days and align it with the Constitution before it's implemented. The ruling follows a petition filed by Joseph Aura and several medical associations opposed to the Act, which required mandatory registration for all Kenyans above the age of 18 years. Timothy Simwa reports.
A three-judge bench has slammed brakes to the enactment of Social Health Insurance Fund, Digital Health and Primary Health Acts of 2023, the law that would have effectively replaced the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF.
And responsible use of
Justices Alfred Mabea, Robert Limo and Lawrence Mogambi faulted the process of formulating the new health insurance law, which they say was devoid of sufficient public participation.
We agree that there is reason for apprehension as expressed by the petition. This is so because the current section was introduced ignoring a key principle under Article 201A, which emphasizes on the need for openness, accountability and public participation in financial matters. Further, the question that lingers in our minds is, why was the new Section 38 introduced without the benefit of public participation?
The court also took issue with the failure to consult and involved the Commission on Revenue Allocation in the process.
There is no evidence to show that the Commission was consulted or invited to make any recommendations on the three impugned legislations.
The bench further says some sections of the Act contravened the Constitution and wondered why the process was undertaken so hurriedly.
The haste with which they were enacted infringed on the national values and principles of the Constitution. Inasmuch as we appreciate the noble intention, we cannot disregard the clear constitutional tenets which binds us. Article 20 requires us to promote and protect the values that underlie an open and democratic society and the spirit, purpose and objects of the Bill of Rights.
As a consequence, the court has directed Parliament to amend the Act in 120 days, failure to which the program shall remain suspended until constitutional compliance is satisfied.
Let Parliament undertake sensitization, adequate, reasonable, sufficient and inclusive public participation in accordance with the Constitution before enacting the said acts and amend the unconstitutional provisions in terms of this judgment.
The program required all Kenyans above the age of 18 years to register with SHIF, and the Minister of Health had rolled out mass registration on 1st of July. It was in the court's finding that the program had burdened a few individuals who were supposed to contribute 2.57% of their gross salaries to SHIF, thus creating disparity in the contribution. The ruling sends the government back to the drawing board as the implementation of the program, touted by its proponents as holistic and effective in fixing the health sector in the country, remains uncertain.
Kuanzia tarehe 1 mwezi wa 10, sasa tutaanza ile program yetu ambayo tulipitisha sheria ya Universal Health Coverage, ili tuhakikishe ya kwamba hakuna Mkenya anaenda hospitali na aulizwe pesa hata kama ako na ugonjwa wa aina gani.
The petition was filed by Joseph Aura, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, the Union of Kenya Civil Servants and other health bodies. Timothy Simwa, K24 TV.
Well, and that report from Timothy Simwa gives us our first break here at K24 Evening Edition. We still have more stories for you after this break. Stay tuned.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter and WhatsApp.
Wapwani mpo?